Hello, today we'll be seeing about Google Forms, and you can access Google Forms by typing the URL docs.google.com/forms. So once you enter the forms, you will see some more options here where you can switch between forms. Slides is something similar to our PowerPoint, Sheets is something similar to our Excel, and Docs is something like our Word. So you can shift over to all this. So everything is online, so you can access it anytime you want. And you have some ready-made templates here. So we have a blank template, assessment, quiz, then even feedback. So there are more templates in the template gallery that you see. You can click here and you can see a lot of forms that can be used, order form request. So it can be put into a wider range of applications here. So as teachers, we will go for assessment types. So this is a much easier way. Select the assessment template. So a new assessment will open, and you will see a few options here. One is the form's name here, and you will see something called add-ons. Then you will see template customization, where you can go in and change the colors. So whatever backgrounds and all the things you can change here. You can also change the image. You can click image upload, and you can change to something else, say something relevant to your subject. And you have the font style also, so basic and decorative font, some playful fonts, something similar to your handwriting, so playful, you can change it. So we will explore that later. Now what we have is we can customize themes. Then we have a preview. After you enter your questions and set the key, you can click preview, which will show you the view what the students will have about okay. So when they are trying to enter the answers, this is the view they will have. So you can check that from the small eye icon, that is present preview icon. Then you have settings. A small gear wheel icon will be there, that is your settings. In the settings, first thing what we try to do is you go to settings, then click collect email addresses and response receipts. Okay, that will generate a response and it will send it back to the students itself. And limit one response. If you limit it to one response, people will be asked to sign in into Google. They should have a Google account. But this is for people who are not having Google account, they can create it in a very simple way. But if we are not limiting it here, we'll be getting multiple responses from some students. So we better check this. Okay, and you don't enable these options. You leave them blank. Edit after submit, because we are conducting a test here, so we don't want the students to go back and edit what they have done as a mistake. Okay, so you can see all this is not needed by the students. So you can, in the general, you have these. Then in the presentation side, you can show progress bar for the students. For example, if you have multiple pages for the test, you can show first page is over, second page, you can show a progress bar. Shuffling questions, I suggest we need not shuffle questions for now. And then you can give a confirmation message, say your assessment has been recorded, something like this. And you can go into quizzes. So when you make this as a quiz, it will allow you to auto grade. That means you need not go and evaluate every paper after they submit. So we'll be allowed to set keys and points for every answer. That will, as soon as the student submits, they will be able to see the score what they have got, provided we give the key, right? And immediately after each submission, you can release the grade. Respondents can see correct answers, point values, and missed questions. uh, this can be done. You can also release the grade manually after every student submits the points also. But at this point, we will keep it for immediate after each submission. So, and then we click save to record all these settings back into your form. You can click save. Okay. And in the assessment, you can there will be a ready-made template thing available. If you want to see what this is, um, it is about a description, just a description, and then you can change it. uh, this is a MCQ test. Do not take more than 30 minutes. Okay. You can give some description for your test, and this email ID will become a mandatory thing, um, so that the student has to enter. And this will be, when you click this, you are creating a template here. These are already present when you are using a pre-recorded template. Okay, so name is kept as a short answer, and you mark it as required. There's a there's an option called as required here. You enable it so that they cannot submit without a name. Okay, there is no points for this. This is not a question, so we don't give points for that. So 0 points. And you can duplicate this if you want, and you can delete it by clicking this. And there are some more options here, like description and response validation and all that. We'll discuss that later. This is not required for a basic test. Okay, so you set this, and then there is a scrolling option here. You can see here where you can add a new section here, and then you can add any videos for the student to see, and then from the video you can ask them questions. And you have an option to add image on the side. Then you have a title and description you can add for any section you want, and input questions from some other test. Okay, so if you have test already created in forms, you can input questions from there. This is to add new questions. Okay, so again this is a name. Okay, and again I will give another short answer, that is the email. On that I will not give points, and I will mark it mandatory, so that they have to enter an email ID so that we can correspond to them back. And then you create a new section. Okay, I can add more sections to that, so you can write it as say choose. Okay, and you can tell them answer any 5 or any 6. Okay, so you can give some description to that section, which will not be validated or anything. Okay, then in this so this is also a section, so you can delete it because I've entered as something new. Okay, where I added section by clicking on this last option on the side here. Okay, so this is the add section. You can see my mouse there. Then I can add a question by clicking on add question. Then I get a template here. Here there is a option to select what type of question it is. From short answer to paragraph questions, you can give a lot of options are there. You have short answer types where the number of characters in paragraphs, multiple choice, checkbox type questions, and drop down answers. Drop down, they can select the answers from the list of choice. Okay, and so these are set the type of question here. what type of question it is. Say if you set as multiple choice, you will see options. You can add more options. Okay, you can add up to 4 options or 5 options even. Okay, so it keeps going. Okay, you can keep adding options and you can remove them by clicking the into mark here. Okay, but if you set it as short answer, there will be a text box where they can fill in the answers. You for now we are setting the question, so it is not enabled. So you can set a question, say define energy. So then uh, after after that you can set the answer key for the question. So you can add a correct answer. Ability to do work is called okay, we'll leave it as it is. So the problem with short answers is uh, Google will read the answer as it is and it will evaluate. For example, if the student writes it in some other wordings, that will be marked as a wrong answer. So you have to give multiple correct answers so that it can evaluate in different possible ways. So this is going to be a tedious task. Okay, um, so you can leave. So we will not concentrate on this for now. Okay, so done. But again, I can go back and edit. Say I keep it as checkbox. Okay, so I have to enter all the options. Say for example, um, work is a dash quantity. Okay, so the option 1 will be vector. Okay, I can add any picture if I want. An option 2 scalar. Okay, so edit all the options. Vector. So backspace will delete the answers. Vector. Option 3, say can't say what it is. Some options. Just okay. None of the above. Okay, so none of the above. So you can leave it as it is. So the question would be coming out in a different stage. This is a required question. Yeah, the student has to answer every question, so you mark it as a required. Then you give the answer key. Answer key, when you press answer key, it will allow you to select the right answer. So work is a scalar quantity. So this will be checked and it will be done. Okay, so this is the question. So this tick mark here shows you that you have selected this as the answer key. Okay, so you can use different things. So linear scale, multi checkbox, grid, and all that are there. So for now, you can start using these options. As so now we have set one question. So similarly, you can set all multiple choice questions here. Now to view this, and I can also set points here. Say I have set a scale here, but I have not set points. So you click on the answer key. So while setting the answer key itself, you can select the points. You can assign points to this question. Say 1 point or 2 points. Then it's done. So I've assigned 1 point. I've set the answer key, which is seen by this tick mark here. So the student will be having a checkbox to click in, and then it is a mandatory question, required question, and you can give some response validations and all that. What is this response validation is? Select at least, at most. Okay, so it helps the student to Suppose you have multiple answers, you can allow the student, you can tell the student that there are multiple answers by that response validation. Okay, until the student selects two options, it will not move to the he will not be able to submit the form. Okay, so now I set a question, and you can click preview to see how it will look for the student. So the student will be first asked for the email ID, he has to enter it, then name, then again okay, so it's a copy, so you enter the email ID. So the next because I created it as a next section, so it will come up in the next page. So next page I have one question that I set, so I select something like this, say can't say. Okay, and there is the only mandatory question. Mandatory questions are okay, others are also mandatory questions are there, so it will be selecting as the stars will be there. Your third question, say answer. Okay. So they have to submit everything, write everything. Okay, so based on, it's a paragraph question, so the paragraph is given, and then we are going to ask questions. So test, if the student enables this, he will get a copy of what answers he submitted, so we will not be, so they can also have a copy of their response. Okay, so I'll select it, and we can click submit to see what happens. You just, this is a trial we have done where assessment has been recorded, then view score. On the view score I get my points, so immediately it will show you work is not a, this answer is wrong and it is a scalar point, correct answer is shown, correct answers are displayed. Okay, and all the wrong questions have been marked as 0 points, and finally the total score. Okay, so this is from the student side, so student will be seeing this, so he'll be closing it. But what happens on your end is you can go back to forms, okay, once you enter forms you will be seeing something like this. Okay, you select owned by me, then you will see the new assessment that you created, opened 2/3 AM. So this is a new assessment that you have created. When you click this, you will see two tabs here, questions and responses. So under response, you immediately, the first thing that you see is accepting responses. That means still the student will be able to enter answers. They'll be able to access the test and enter answers. If I switch this off, the test is closed, nobody can submit it. Okay, so this way we can limit the number of responses and ensure that students are submitting on time. Okay, then it will give you a report of what is the most answered and what choices have been answered as the most correct answer and all that. So it will help you analyze what the student's understanding is about a particular topic. And then under the question section you can analyze individual questions. Then under individual you can see who all submitted. So now I have submitted it, so it shows me my email ID, and I can see the response. So individual response can be seen. You can validate the performance individually as well as a class, and you can print out the response. You can even delete the response. So accidentally if you delete it, the student will not be able to resubmit it. That's why we ask the students to get a response to their email ID once before they submit it. So we enable that option there for them. So this is about the basics of creating a multiple choice question under forms. Okay, thank you.